Hello everybody, it's a very tired college football guy here with another video. It's about 9:40 at night here Eastern time. As I said in the previous video, I'm here in Westchester, Ohio. This is the project I've been working on for a little bit here. And I got notes, so you're going to see me looking down at the pages here. But it's basically I was trying to figure out, now I'm doing the project, we already know about this one, where we're doing how much money you've made on average the last 5 years to do this. But remember the Big Ten's criteria is winning football record, academic status, how much money you make, how many fans you bring in. They're basically the same thing. Basically, those are kind of like the 3-4 criteria for Big Ten membership. SEC could care less about academics, but they care about how much money you make and how you do on the football field. I mean, it's the other athletic departments are appointment, but SEC is mainly football based, folks. So what I did is I took in this sheet of paper, as you can hear, but you can't see on camera. I decided to do is go through the last 5 years win-loss record, conference record, which surprisingly nobody did that I could find anyway. So I just did it my damn self. Win-loss record for the last 5 years for Pac-12, Big 12, including the new 4 members. They're going to be in the last part of the Big 12. And for the ACC. And I ranked them by wins, not winning percentage, by wins, regular total wins, 1 through 10. We're going to go through on there. I'm not going to do the 10 through 1 countdown. We're going to do 1 through top dog going down. I'll do the conferences here. So you're going to see me kind of like this here looking because I'm going to be reading to you, okay? So bear with me, okay? Yeah, don't you love the lovely closet? All right. Let's get to the Pac-12. Winningest team in the Pac-12 over the last 5 years. What a surprise. It's Oregon, which is also an AAU school. 42-19 overall, 27-15 for their conference record. Number 2 is Utah, 40-20, 29-13 conference record. Washington, third, 35-20. So I can do this and kind of look at it. Then 35-20, 25-16 conference record. Washington State, 34-22, 23-17 conference record. Arizona State 32-24, 23-17 conference record. Stanford 29-28, 23-21 conference record. Cal 26-29, 15-25 conference record. Now we're getting the real bad ones, folks, in the Pac-12. Colorado 23-31, 13-27 conference record. Arizona 17-37, 12-29 conference record. And Oregon State 17-39, 12-31 conference record. And you say, wait a minute, like Arizona and Oregon State's records are basically the same. They're 2 games off. Well, during the COVID year of 2020, which a lot of these records are going to be off, folks, a lot of them are going to be off, is because they played 2 more games. Oregon State played 2 more, lost 2 more. So at least they played them. But yeah, Oregon State's on there. So yeah, Arizona and Colorado, I mean, of the 7 schools right now that are AAU schools, only 4 had winning records over the last 5 years. Oregon, Utah, Washington, and Stanford. So by that criteria, those 4 would be the leading candidates of the Pac-12 record-wise. I mean, Washington State and Arizona State, who I said is bad, well, they're actually got better records than some of the other ones. And Colorado, which has been linked to the Pac, 23-31, 13-27. Holy cow. All right, the Big 12. Here we go. Kind of getting this a little bit higher so you can kind of see my face. But I'm looking above the page, so forgive me again. Oklahoma State, best team, 45-19, 31-19 conference record. Iowa State, second, 39-25, 29-21 conference record. Again, folks, the winning records are going to be off because of the COVID year 2020. Different teams played different games. Not everybody in the same conference played the same amount of games. Third, TCU, 34-27 with a 22-23 conference record. Then we got the bunch here. I call it the bunch for a reason. Kansas State, 33-28. Baylor, 33-29. West Virginia, 32-28. They're basically all together. Kansas State was 21-24 in conference. Baylor was 23-23 in conference. West Virginia was 22-23 in conference. All right, Texas Tech, 26-34, 14-31 in conference. And the only AAU school in the Big 12, Kansas, 9-48, 3-41 in the Big 12. Holy Toledo. That's bad, folks. Now, among the new recruit schools, I don't think these guys will get Big Ten invites. But one thing kind of surprised me is how bad Houston's been the last 5 years. They've only been good really recently. So I'm ranking them 1 through 4, like UCF, last 4 years. UCF, last 5 years. UCF's in the American, Cincinnati's in the American, Houston's in the American, BYU's independent. So I'm not really do conference records because it's ridiculous for UCF and Cincinnati. But the overall records, UCF 50-12, Cincinnati 48-15, BYU 39-25, Houston 34-25. So winning record teams here, I mean, Baylor, West Virginia, Kansas State, TCU, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, they're all winning teams, folks. You know, Pac-12, we brought up Oregon, Utah, Washington, Washington State, Arizona State, and Stanford. Those are the teams with the winning records over the last 5 years. All right. Flip the page. The ACC. And then we get the most ridiculous stat of them all. Clemson. 61-8 in the last 5 years. 38-4 in the ACC. They went 6-2, lost 2 games last year in the ACC. That's the same amount of games they lost in the previous 4 years combined. That's crazy. NC State, next. 39-23, 25-17 in conference. Wake Forest, 38-24. Surprised me they were that high. 21-19 in conference. Miami, 38-24. Also, 27-11 in conference. Second best record only to Clemson. Pitt, number 5, 37-27, 26-17 in conference. Then we got the kind of both these schools are tied together. Now Pitt's an AAU school, by the way. Virginia, who's also an AAU school. Virginia and Virginia Tech are linked at the hip, folks. Virginia, 34-28, 21-20 in conference. Virginia Tech, 34-29, 23-19 in conference. Literally the same thing, practically. They're tied at the hip. Number 8, I would never have guessed this. 8th winningest record out of 14 teams, Boston College. Yes, you heard it right, Boston College. 32-29 overall, 19-23 in conference. Surprised me. Louisville, 28-34 overall, 16-26 in conference. And now we're getting to the losing records, folks. Florida State and North Carolina. This is all one big bunch right here, folks. Florida State and North Carolina both with 26 wins. Florida State 26-33. North Carolina 26-35. Florida State was 16-24 in conference. North Carolina was 16-26. North Carolina played 2 more games than Florida State did in the COVID year. That's why there's a different record. Same day. It's weird. 12th, Syracuse, 25-35, 13-29 in conference. 13th, next to last team, Duke. I thought Duke for sure would be last. No, 25-36 overall. But an ACC worst, 10-32 in conference. Then you got Georgia Tech, the worst in the ACC, 21-37, 16-25 in conference. So of the AAU schools that the Big Ten would go after, which is Pitt, Virginia, North Carolina, Duke, and Georgia Tech, only Pitt and Virginia have winning records over the last 5 years. That's interesting. And so, now, I'm doing this on my phone, folks. I don't have graphics. I'm going to keep this information for later on because it'll come in handy. We could do the full thing going on here, folks, for everything that's going to be happening. But yeah, it's kind of surprising. Of the last 5 years, the teams with the winning records, the last 5 years, which they said as a requirement was your football winning. Pac-12, Oregon, Utah, Washington, Washington State, Arizona State, and Stanford. That's a criteria. AAU, Oregon, Utah, Washington, and Stanford meet that. So they have 2 of the 3 criteria, so that's good for them. Winning teams in the Big 12, Oklahoma State, Iowa State, TCU, Kansas State, Baylor, and West Virginia. None of them are AAU schools, so they only meet 1 of the criteria. I don't count the UCF, Cincinnati, and them, so I don't think they're going to get a nod. But they don't meet any AAU criteria either. All of them are winning records, but none of them meet the criteria. In the ACC, Clemson, NC State, Wake Forest, Miami, Pitt, Virginia, Virginia Tech, and Boston College all have winning records. The top 8 teams in the ACC, but only Pitt and Virginia are AAU schools. So, if you look at this right here, we've got 8 in the ACC. We've got 6 in the Big 12, which makes 14 total. And then for 20 schools total out of the ACC, Big 12, and Pac 12 have winning records. 20 teams. But of those 20 teams, only 6 are AAU schools. Only 6. Could those, since they meet 2 of the requirements, could those 6 be the schools that the Big 12 is looking after? Oregon, Utah, Washington, Stanford, Pitt, and Virginia. Would Penn State even let Pitt in? I don't know. I just been working on this real fast, and I thought you guys might enjoy it. I wish I had the graphics to put up, but as you know, I'm on my phone. So, from a very tired That College Football Guy, thanks everybody for watching the video. If you like the video, give me the thumbs up. Comments wish down below. I might put this in text messages format and put it in the comments. If you want me to do that and, put the comments in, let me know, or I'll figure out something. I'll figure it out somehow how to do this. But anyway, like, comment. If you like it, subscribe. And as always, everyone, please be good to each other.